have to do is leave the house. She said, but I'm a homebody. Well, it's hard to find love sitting on your couch. What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to the hotline. You guys know what we do here. We sit here and just basically just talk about normal day family issues, personal issues, just anything that you guys want to talk about. And so I try to respond to every text message and everything that comes to the hotline. And, a lot of people just say hello, or people get into like family issues. Like last week we covered how to deal with people in our family or friends with like a drug addiction. So, and a lot of people go through these things. Not everybody. Somebody made it clear. Not everybody has that, but in society, they always around. And like another top issue we had was childhood drama. I mean, like a trauma. When people talk about how do you overcome a bad childhood? A lot of people say, well, mine was great. Oftentimes, we all have some kind of issues growing up. And I guess it's two ways you can deal with it. Either if you have somebody that's really hard on you, or like in my situation, I'm from a big family, and my father was a heavy gambler, right? He was pretty much addicted to gambling. So, but all this stuff affects the family. And when things get rough, he would fight my mother too. So oftentimes when you grow up seeing these things, it's two ways you can go. You can grow up and copy and pretty much do the same thing that your father did or your parent, or you can simply choose to do the opposite. So, and oftentimes we always feel like, well, if this kid, something crazy happened, that they can't overcome it, but oftentimes they can. So we can discuss that. And then I got my family out here this week, and we just, hitting basketball tournaments and everything. So I'm gonna bring up my father-in-law and bring up my wife, and then we can get into this. And then whatever you guys want to talk about, if it's something totally different, we could move on with that too. So let me bring them up. Hey, Sherelle.
Hi.
What's up, Father? Daddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey,
So, I guess until we get some other things, we could talk about overcoming childhood drama. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Trauma.
Well, it can be drama. It could be both of them. Yeah. Yeah. But, I was just telling them about my father, my situation. And either I could copy what my father did, or I can do the opposite. So oftentimes we got choices, and it do affect a lot of people.
My childhood trauma is really related to my dad and how it was generational. Daddy, let's talk about what happened to you.
Can't hear you, Trina. You're too low, your voice.
Can you hear me, Perry?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Oh, go turn up his speaker. Yeah. I was saying that my childhood trauma is deeply connected to my father and his upbringing. And I wanted you to talk about the things that you went through growing up and what was the biggest trauma of your childhood. Can you hear me now? He's going to turn the mic up for you.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
I said that my childhood trauma was deeply related to yours and the type of family that we came from. Tell her a little bit about our family.
Well, we're from a little small town in Michigan outside of Flint, Detroit. And my grandfather's occupation was a mortician. So you got to see, I definitely learned how to live through understanding death, because we've seen it, grown up with it. And then I realized that most of the time, it was very seldom that somebody just came through and died of natural causes. Either it was the way they was eating, drugs, boyfriend shoots the girlfriend on the holiday, because on the holiday we'd be on full.
But that was the family's main job. But
Yeah.
our grandmother, tell the story how he got the money to be a
Well,
mortician.
just keep feeding me through it,
Okay.
because I'll leave stuff out. My grandmother was Madam from South Carolina, and had 3 brothels. What modern days we say hoe houses, but had 3 brothels, because I'm trying to be polite here. Had 3 brothels.
I'll say my grandmother was a madam, and she ran a whole house, 3.
Right, 3 of them.
And made so much money off of it. We spend it off into different businesses, which would be restaurants.
Okay.
How did it affect the family being raised by a madam?
Well, music, usually her viewpoint wasn't a regular mainstream viewpoint, So she had.
Hold on a second. What's the problem, Perry?
When you was talking, you was getting an echo, so I'm just trying to minimize something, make sure you ain't got no browser open. I think it should be okay.
Look, let me ask you this, Pop. Did my grandmother and grandfather, who were into prostitution and stuff like that, street life?
Oh, street life, yeah.
Did they raise a bunch of criminals?
Yeah,
they
you was
forced
geared
it on us, right?
You was geared towards that because of the environment that you lived in. Like where I lived at, it was the pool room, because it didn't have video games then. The pool room was where all what we used to call players hang out. And on one side of the block was the prostituting houses, and then down the street was, back in the days, they had what they called numbers, the number man.
Yeah.
So my father worked in the plant, go to work dirty, come home dirty. But you see the people that's wearing the suits and ain't dirty with the cars and stuff was all making their money from the street life. And then Grandpa, of course, made a whole lot of money because he bearing them, So of course you're going to gear to what you see, I see my father come home dirty, pouring iron and stuff, and I see my grandfather and grandma every day sharp, which way I'm gonna lean, And then they
you're saying that seeing your grandfather make so much money being a pimp and grandmother being a whore affected the family, because if we thought that's the only way to get money, how did it affect? Why is everybody in our family a criminal?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think part of it was, of course, the way he was raised, but I think part of it is like the kids of the day, of the environment that you're in, who you see with the money. You know what I'm saying? Who you see doing well, who you see got out of it. So when these young kids now say OG, they talking about original gangster, that kind of stuff. But older people like me that was in the streets, when we say OG, we say a man or a woman that was in the streets, learned from it and got out of it. And mostly the education came from the streets. That's OG. You made it out of it. But they're getting confused today. Like an OG means shooting gangster style. Because in the streets, you got gangsters that usually die. Them are the ones on the bombing table. And then you got players. And it's the same way in the real world. Y'all just use different terms. And a player is one, because we all playing games. Because personality, you can put on any personality you want. It's interchangeable. You can't change what's in your soul. But people all day long put on masks who they want to be. Somebody knock on the door, you got another mask on. You go to work, you took this mask off and put another one on. When you go out and party, you got another mask on. Because personality is interchangeable. Because it ain't really you anyway. You just putting on a mask to get whatever you want to get from it, out of it. But what happens, you change your mask so much that you get confused after life go on who you really are. Because you don't think you the mask, but you're not the mask that you put on, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, even when married people put a mask on, maybe to get along with their wife, put a mask on to get along with their kids and stuff, and lose who they really were,
Let's say, because what you're saying is kind of confusing. You're saying that your environment can affect you so much that you start thinking and becoming like the people you're around. So we're all born with a good heart, right? But if I see drug dealers every day, which you did, if I see pimps every day, what you did, that's going to affect you, and you're going to take on that personality. That's the changing of the mask, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you grew up around all of this. Gangsters, it is what it is, okay? That turned their dirty money into positive money. But for you, what was your cutoff? Why didn't you grow up to be in jail or dead?
Because the first thing I think what really changed it all the way that always was my not to cross that line is after I had kids. I never wanted another person calling my kids daddy because I was in prison and they didn't really know me. So I had limitations. I would do only certain things, but I'm not gonna cross that line that I'm gonna get taken away from my kid. Leave my wife out there struggling, because I always know the money, because grandpa had money. So I had a little more advantage than the other kids because they wanted money because they didn't have stuff. We had plenty of stuff, but I noticed very early that the stuff don't make you happy. You know what I'm saying?
But you got your grandfather who's a drug dealer, your uncles that are drug dealers, your brothers and cousins. You're saying it was a choice that you made before, even in your head, before you even got into these situations? You just said to yourself,
I always had limitations. And I always knew whatever you do too much, easy money ain't always good money.
Right.
And I would watch how everybody come out, at an early age, because I really clung to my older people that were older than me. But I noticed how nobody came out of it okay. I never seen, right now I'm 73, and I've never seen a drug dealer or con people.
In the midst of what was going on, when you see they're making lots of money and everybody in your family is doing it, what made you say, when it was good, before they start going to jail and dying and all that, what made you say, because did you get into the dealing? Did you get into dealing?
No, I never deal.
What made you say, even though they're driving nice cars and has these nice houses, grandfather lived in a mansion, 23-room mansion, what made you say, I'm not going to make my money the illegal way?
That's what I was saying, because of the funeral home. I seen the end result at an early age, them down there in the casket, and then I knew also that, it was very visual of it. And that's why somebody took the fast life, because very early age, we knew just from seeing that it ain't guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed, no matter what you may think. And maybe in some people life, they can forget that till they get sick or they lose closely. But when you in a mortician family, you're seeing it every day. You might have been with Freddie tonight, and the next thing you know, he down there on grandpa's table, and you knew what he was doing. He done got shot for sticking up. So the limitation, I don't think I just woke up and said, well, I ain't going to jail, but you just say I ain't going out like that. You know what I'm saying?
You said something to me when I was a little girl. You said very few people die of natural causes. What does that mean? And it stuck with me because it made me feel like, well, I had a choice of how I die most of the time.
No, it don't say you got a choice how you die. But I'm saying you would assume that people, you have your life, though it's not true because, young kids die too. But I'm saying it's very seldom that somebody came in there and just died because they was 90 years old from old age. Something other what they were doing, what they were using, what they was eating, always died at an early age. And then I always realized that no matter what you do, like when they be fighting each other, and the husband killed the wife killed the husband, they were always sad. When I was a real little kid, I would see how sad they were and sorry, but I knew death was final. And no matter how much crying you do, some mistakes you can undo, but death is everybody going to be there, going to face it. But if you end up killing somebody, you killing them with drugs. If you're selling drugs, you're killing people. You might not take the gun out, but you kill them. And if destroy their lives most time when you're on drugs. And I always felt, well, I ain't gonna be the one, because my family would say, well, they're gonna buy it from somebody. And I just say,
Right.
they ain't gonna buy it from me. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen so-and-so, he was real good and taking care of his family, got on drugs, now he look pitiful and stealing and everything else, because when you grow up and people get on drugs, so maybe I did have a brother that I grew up with, but once he was on drugs, he was not the same brother I grew up with. So now you try to teaching him like he the same brother, but he's not the same brother. You understand? So in life, it's study moving. Just like people forget important things. Like we forget that we ain't just standing still here when it's turning. People forget that this world is turning. So if you ain't turning and moving, you out of accord with nature.
What does that mean, Daddy?
If nature is turning and moving and growing and ain't standing still, then you shouldn't be standing still. You shouldn't be in the same position you was 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. It's about growth. It's about growth.
Because in record, the more I do what nature do, the more easy it's going to be me, because that's the natural way. You know what I'm saying? So if I had a dream, because everybody had dreams, and I still ain't moved towards that dream, then, I'm the same way. If I'm married and we're in the same position, arguing about the same stuff that we was arguing about when we was 15, and now you're 30 and 40 and 50, and you're arguing about the same thing, you at the same thing where you was, then something's matter.
Are you saying you got to stay positive and you have to make choices in a positive direction?
Well, you got to make choices, and it ain't got to be positive, because some people make negative choices. You're going to make wrong choices all the time, but you got to correct it as soon as you see it. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't make choices, somebody else going to make them for you.
Right.
The spinning, it's going to make your own choice. If you say, I should leave so-and-so, and you don't never leave, and you keep putting up with it, well, sooner or later, the choice will be made for you, because either he leave you because your relationship all messed up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to play it, but it's not good to let stuff play out. It's best to grow and take action,
I have another question, because these are the things, I know all these stories, but you taught me a lot of lessons growing up. When you get in the dope game, does it always come with murder and guns? And can you be a successful drug dealer without shooting somebody?
No.
Well,
why?
I mean,
no, you can't, because it goes with the territory. You see what I'm saying?
No. What are you saying?
I mean, you got to be tough. Even if you ain't tough, you got to get an illusion that you're tough, because even in the regular world, you got givers and you takers. Okay. In the drug world, it's mostly either a killer or smart or whatever. But the killers, because they'll kill you, they really regard human life, they don't think nothing about it, ain't caring. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. So they're experts at, because whatever you do all the time, you're expert at it. Because me, it's not the expert. If you had somebody on your show when you was talking about the drugs that I watched, the expert was the lady that was on the drugs. You know what I'm saying? But this world, like, turning stuff around, make you think the expert. You can't be expert on the hungry, and your ass ain't never been hungry. The one that's the really expert is the hungry one. But I always believe, I'm not a real religious man in that kind of way, that church and religion is two different things. You know what I'm saying? But in religious mean that you know your self-worth. You know what I'm saying? You got givers and takers. You got killers and you got people that won't kill. But the killers can sense another person that ain't a killer. A taker can sense another person that's a giver, because they out to use you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they experts at it. You know what I'm saying? So I can have the pistol on, but they can sense that Johnny ain't really a killer. he just faking, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you can fake it so good, they may think it is. But I never want to kill nobody because I know it's still gonna be in your head. I don't care what you say.
But what about this, Daddy? Grandpa was living in the life a long time.
Yeah, but see, it's different. That's why I brought up the first time. It's different than players and gangsters. It's different. There's two different kinds of guys out there. You know, and even in the real world, you got players is one that know what game they playing, know that every game that you play got rules and regulations, and they play the game because they know how to play it. You know what I'm saying? But if you a gangster ain't got no rules, but it's rules imposed anyway that he don't see, so he always on the downside with the police, or you know, but you never get out of it because it's camera. If I mess up other people, that's being a devilish way. If I mess up other people, like sooner or later, believe me, I done seen drug dealers that was getting away with it. Their mother died, their father died.
Oh, I see.
Sister
You're
got
found.
Some
kind of way.
You know, so something is in action there, and then at the end he got killed. You know what I'm saying? It's no smart way to mess up people's life. You know what I'm saying? And most time I'm praying on you only because I know that you're weak to something. You know, because a strong person not going to go. Because we had a lot of tooting in them days instead of the crack and stuff, but shooting up was a big thing then. But you only shoot up because you don't want to face what you got to face with. You understand? So you weak. You a coward, not strong enough to pull yourself out. So you're looking for somebody to pull you out. But every time that you go out yourself for the answer, because you ain't made different than nobody else. You know when you're right. You know when you're wrong. That little voice you study telling you, don't do that. Don't do that, Johnny. And I don't care how much you try to quiet it down. It's still, you know, because you'll do it and then you say, damn. You know,
so you're saying drug dealers know they shouldn't be selling. Drug addicts know they shouldn't be taking. Prostitutes know they shouldn't be selling. But you know. But you
they just got caught up.
When I was very young, and I would like to think, I don't know, in my head, that I'm a very good businesswoman. And that's because I started working with you at an early age. So you transfer your life from being a street guy to a corporate man. And you would say the rules are the same. And remember you said...
I just took the rules from the streets and applied it to the corporate world because it ain't so different, as long as you understand what game you're in. So move up very quickly because they say, well, something different about here. You know, but it ain't the difference they don't see is that I didn't let the street mentality really go because I was who I was anyway. So I just applied to the street so I could, if I'm a giver, I'd have been took from so much that hell, I can recognize a taker. It don't take me long at all to make somebody decision for the take real quick and stuff. So in the corporate world, you're full of takers trying to get position.
Wow.
Full of takers. Every trick in the book. So if you can recognize it's hard, so I can take a taker and he think he's taking me, but I use that to my advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know.
It's rare. A lot of people, if you grow up in the streets like you did, stay in the streets. It's rare that you find someone that cross over to corporate America and then succeed the way that you did. But you saying that all the rules are the same and every
lifestyle. It's just different terminology. It's all the same stuff. You know, you gotta take it. I don't care if you do it in
so you're saying no matter what kind of life you're living in, if you're a weak person and you let people dictate what you do, you're always going to come up on the losing end of the stick.
You'll come up on the losing end every time.
Why?
I don't care because they takers, so they don't care about you. You got people out of here because they just don't stop with the little taking money or taking trying to get more points on YouTube. It's people out there. You know, and I don't want to get no controversy going. That's out to take your berries. It's too late. You say it's too late.
But, are you about to say that the same rules for YouTube if you want to be successful, right?
But listen, you got people, the takers, because there's different levels of takers, different levels of giver. But you got takers that's only take your life. You know, you got some that take your life right away, but you got some that's trying to take your very soul. You know what I'm saying? they ain't after they like the devil. They after your soul. You know what I'm saying? To use you. You know what I'm saying? They take your very soul. And so if you ain't hip to it, you got the mafia. But I always say you got the mafia people of the soul too. That's out after your very soul. You know, so I don't know.
That reminds me when you said, you told me this when I was little. You said Trina, because they call me Trina. If you're going to come across a lot of people that's going to take from you, but your job is to not let them. And that's for every aspect in life. So I have to set boundaries for people, don't I? When they
you have to. You can't, because the takers is looking for you and they get expert. The older you get, and then some people are expert at a younger age, a teenager or something, you know, and a baby. You got babies that's taker, you know, naturally taker. You know, even baby get hip. Shit, if I do this here, I'll get that bottle. You know what I'm saying? At an early age and stuff. So if you're conscious, because the baby ain't conscious of it, but if you're constantly doing it, well, and you've been doing it for years, well, you know, and then the giver always thinks people don't treat me, they always repeat the golden rule to the giver. You know, do unto others, baby, Johnny, like they want to do unto you. I wouldn't talk like that. I was taught do unto people the way they do unto you. You know,
what does that mean?
I mean, if you dogging me, I ain't gonna be all nice to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dog your butt back. You know what I'm saying? I might not go to the extent that you'll go. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't just sitting there letting you dog me. You get it? It ain't happening. But most time I ain't gonna let it get to that because I won't be done off you before you hurt me. You know.
But see, like mine was different. When I grew up, mine was really your teaching for Sherelle was different than mine because I was always turn the other cheek. And this is how I grew up. And this is how I met her, got in so many debates over the years. No, you can't do that. But I think like people learn certain things as they grow up. But then once you get out in the real world, you get to apply what you was raised with, but you get to be open to receive other knowledge that's out there, like sticking up for yourself. You know,
but I think Marvin, when you raised a certain way, turn the other cheek or don't do this, make you a nice guy and stuff. And the takers take it, but you're going to be nice is out of habit. Because that's what you always did. You got to think about it because that's the way you brought up. That's the way you always did. But you have to look and see. I always say you got to take self-inventory sometimes when you were raised, or because people will kill people about ideals, but nobody owns none of them ideals. I don't care what you might think you the one came up with it. It's junk. You either read it in a book, seen it on TV, somebody told you, you got it from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just come up. I ain't just come up with nothing. Somebody taught me that. So I got to go sometimes, take self-inventory, see what I was taught, and do I need to use that in this situation, or should I use another for real?
Okay, but I'll tell you this. So I had no choice but to go through the self-examination of myself and just look at it.
Well, everybody do have to.
And what ended up happening is that you get tired of being used. That make you think a different way. And then it's like, no, enough is enough. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You see what I'm saying? Because as gentle as you might want to be, people are going to use you up day and night. Like, you think they should be able to appreciate it. But like you said, most people in general, they can be the nicest person, but if they can sense they can use you, shit.
That's why.
And you keep doing it, eventually that person gonna use you too because you just too what's the word for it? Like too open for it. Huh?
That's I say the most valuable lesson my daddy ever taught me is be careful of the takers. They will destroy your life. You always told me since a little girl, be careful of the takers. Be careful of the takers.
Let me just tell the people, I'm old and I'm hard of hearing, so I might keep saying what you say. Okay, go ahead, Julia.
I said you always told me in life, not just business, be careful of the takers. Do you remember that?
Of what?
The takers.
She said, be careful of the takers.
Are they some of the most dangerous people?
Because takers come with a smile. They don't come with a frowned up. They ain't like gangster. Gangster gonna come with your pistol in his pocket and let you know he got the pistol in your pocket. But takers in the world, the regular world, is coming with a smile. They ain't coming, I don't like you. They're going to be, I like you, Sherelle. I love you, Sherelle. Oh, you so great, Sherelle, until they get what they want. You know what I'm saying? You know.
See, GSP should have caught me about 20 years ago when I was in that mode.
Well,
I'm in a different mode now, GSP.
But you're still a good guy. You ain't lost your good.
Oh, yeah, no. But I mean, like back in the day, I would have gave her 50.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes everybody experiences bad things in their childhood, right?
Yeah.
And some people overcome it, but some people use it as an excuse to keep the bad times going. Are those weak people?
Well, it's like not weak, just what they used to. You take, if I'm shooting like the lady we was talking about that smoked the crack every day that was on your station, okay, smoking for years. They get scared. What kind of person will I be if I ain't smoking? So they get scared, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to, so you just keep doing what you're doing. You know how that's going to lead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if I straighten up, what would it be like? Now I got to face the music of what I done all this year. You know.
Well, how do you become a stronger person?
You just have to wake up and see things the way they really are, and don't color. No matter how much you like the person, if I see a taker, I know sooner I get him out of my life, the better I'm gonna be. Or I gotta change, like Marvin said, to keep people from. You know, you just gotta be truthful about the people, but you can't be truthful about. See clearly if I ain't truthful about myself, what I am, you know. Why do I, that's why I say self-inventory. I gotta be true. Why am I geared towards taker? Why can they easily take from me? You understand? So that's a flaw in my character. How did I get like that? You know what I'm saying? How did I let a taker use me? Do I just want so many friends that made me popular in high school or whatever? You know, you gotta figure out.
What if one of the takers is your father?
Is what?
What if one of the takers in your life is a family member?
Well, the rules don't change for them.
Well, see, yeah, and that's the thing, though. But oftentimes
they don't change.
Well, no, you're right. No, I agree. The rules don't change. But when you instill in the family and you grow up this way, it's like they got a different rule book. It's what you taught. You know, blood is thick in the water. We get all kind of sayings. So families stick together. But then, like,
they leave out is that it's study changing. The relationship you had with your brother yesterday ain't the same relationship you should be having with him today. Right. Me and my brother used to wear the same drawers. I wouldn't wear drawers today because the relationship changed. So if I ain't moving like the world is moving, spinning, and I'm getting stagnated, you know, then you're going to be study getting took because you still loving him as the little brother that y'all used to play in the sandbox together.
Did it come a time in your life, Daddy, when you said, I love my brother, but he a gangster, and I got to distance myself?
I didn't use them terms. I just said he's out of his mind. My term. You know, he done went crazy. You know, he's out of it. The money driving crazy because money is a worse drug than anything else, you know. But your family can always use you the most because you got the love part in there. But I'm not gonna let you keep using me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna keep being the one giving the 50 cents every day and you ain't paying me back, and you know, or taking my car and you're running all off. My brother used to take my car and I had to chase him down to get my car back. You know, and every time talk me back into giving them to him again, and giving to him again is the same thing. It's time he ain't brought the car back. I gotta go in the streets and find him. And then when he see me coming, he take off in the car, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So after a while, you just say, "Oh no, this ain't going down like that." You know?
So in order to suffer from survive from childhood trauma, at some point you have to distance yourself from there, right? Like you have to. You have to. Because what were you doing when they were selling the drugs? When they were getting high? When they were
using them to get using them to get free drugs?
Oh Daddy, stop.
No, you want me to be around to tell the truth. So you you know, anybody know about drugs, they cut it. You know, they don't just sell it the way they get it. So I know if I go over while they sniping it out and cutting it, you know, well, I'm gonna get everything free. Here you go, Johnny. You know, here you go. And so when I was in the streets, I was a user because I would use other people. If because my family was well known and stuff. So I know some people just want me to be around them. You know what I'm saying? And so I ain't never had to spend no much money. You know, here you go, player. I'm like,
So
yeah.
you're saying you were a taker?
In that kind of way, in the drug world, because you're full of takers. You know, I was a real taker. I never with my family, or people that I love, but in the drug, I played the role. You know, you got to be looking like you're doing swell all the time.
I can't hear. Okay, can y'all guys hear me now? Can you hear me better, Pop?
Well, you know, I'm hard of hearing, so I don't know about the public.
Yeah, it's a little better.
Somebody said they can't hear it. Can't hear you good, Cheryl.
I'm very, very proud of you. Can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear it.
I'm very proud of you. Coming from where you came from, taking that, and then at what point in your life you left the whole game? You just left. And then you came to California and started a new life for yourself. Let's just say somebody is being, I don't know, abused in their family. How do you overcome? What do you say to people? If people have so many bad things happen in their childhood, what do you say? Do you think you can overcome anything?
Anything.
You can overcome anything.
Well,
I mean, I'll say this too, and I agree with that. Like, look at Oprah's childhood. Now, I'm not saying the road is going to be easy for them to recover, but most people can. I mean, well, I feel like if that person really wanted to, I'm not no doctor, so I don't want to get too deep into it like that, but I think that most people can change.
Well, that's what I'm asking. How do you do it, Daddy? You're saying you can overcome anything.
You got to be secure with you. See, most of the time, your spirit's been broken. You know, when a kid first come in and get well, sometimes school will break his spirit. Sometimes, you know, so saying with a family, your spirits can be broken, and I don't think it's done intentionally. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it ain't. It's only because maybe the person raising your spirit is broken. But once somebody breaks your spirit, other things, consequences come in. You get insecure, you know, real insecure when somebody break your spirit. Can you feel you can do it? Like why some people can't do nothing without somebody else with them, you know? So your spirit's been broken, you know? So that's why some people will get it back from church, you know? But I don't really believe all the time church is the answer. You got to get connected with the spirit that's in you, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes people quit making decisions because all decisions is coming from outside themselves. Even a book, somebody told you, you know, lost confidence in yourself. Why you can't go as yourself, look in there, you know, because most of the time I don't buy when people say, well, I didn't know, I was just, you knew, you just did it anyway.
Right.
You ain't no different than me. And something told you, don't do that, and you did it anyway. So a lot of times, people say I'm harsh or don't care, but it ain't that. People might take it off that way. It's that I ain't got time to waste my time when I know you knew. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not wasting my time because you know damn well if you shoot that stuff every day, your ass ain't no different than nobody else. You're going to get up. So I never had too much sympathy from my brother. So they'll say, well, Johnny don't care. Or Johnny just hard ass. Or Johnny just care about himself. But it ain't that. I know you had plenty of chances, you know, because your mind done told you, you know, and then before you got real hooked, something was saying you need to get off, but you just ain't got the spirit now. Your spirit's so broke to pull up.
Let's say this, Pop. If let's say you're physically assaulted, that's the word I'm using for the M word, growing up. You're saying everybody gets a chance to straighten out their life, but you
that's right.
Make bad decisions.
You know, like you mean like you've been molested or something?
I'm not allowed to say that word, but yes.
Okay. When you say assault, what do you mean? I'm saying
the word. Tell him, Perry. He can't hear me.
Well, okay. Look, I just put it this way. I mean, any bad thing you can imagine happened to a child. She just saying in general. Can that person overcome that?
I think so. I believe.
And I was going to say that's my answer too, because I think this way. No matter what, If you wake up breathing the next day,
that's right. You got another chance.
it's still open now.
But nobody said it's easy.
It's easy, right?
It's not easy, so that's why a lot of people don't do it. And the farther you in the hole, the harder it's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's not easy. But you can overcome anything. I do believe that. You know, because people do it all the time. And childhoods and just make you. I probably went out and killed myself, and they came out of it because they were persistent. You know, a lot of times, I always knew whatever I did, it's going to go pass on my kid. I couldn't be the perfect daddy because I wasn't perfect, but I still know I can be the best I can be. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do is be the best you can be, and being the best I can be is not going off getting high all the time. Being the best I can be, I ain't got to drink all the time. That's not the best I can be. I can do better than that. The best I can be, if I know money ain't gonna bring you happiness, because I'm seeing the bodies down there, then why should I shoot for it so hard? You know, to impress other people? Well, I can say,
wait, whoa. What you mean by that? Money don't. What do you mean, Pop?
Well,
What do you mean money doesn't bring you happiness?
If you ain't content without money, you're not gonna be content with money.
Right.
You know? Just because you get a lot of money, and if I can prove it, because why would people with millions of dollars, Hollywood stars, be on drugs if money was the answer to it? Why would somebody like Marilyn Monroe or something kill themselves if attain high as you can go in her career, if it made you happy? Why would, you know, it's case after case. You know, why would Wendy Williams? It's a hole there because you got to straighten your spirit out first. You know what I'm saying? So you can get all the money in the world, you can have all the mansions you want, and it comes like a tomb to you. You know, everybody else coming in saying, "Damn, this is a nice house, Sherelle. This is really nice." But the house might be nice, but that don't mean when you shut the doors, you happy. What you want is when the door is shut. What you should be working on is when the door is shut.
I agree.
You're still happy. You know,
right?
So that's why I say it's fronting.
Let me ask you this. So our grandfather was a millionaire, right? He was a millionaire.
Right.
Made money the illegal way and then would wash it and make it legal. Was he happy?
No. Well, happiest man I ever seen. And his curse was, most times if you got a lot of money, people are going to be bumming from you, and, you know, the taker's going to be taking and stuff. So then what happened to him, after a while, including his family, you know, Grandpa, can I get this? Can I get that? So then after a while, you don't know whether people love you for you or they love you because you got money. So he just assumed, if I didn't have this money, nobody loved me. So that makes you insecure too, because you figure nobody don't really care about me. It's just the money, you know, because money tricks you, you know what I'm saying? Because money might make you think you're more powerful than everybody else, but you got the same problem everybody else. And sometimes on a bigger, a bit bigger scale, because if I'm a junkie, without the money, I'm going to do crazy stuff to get it. But if I'm a junkie with money, say like the singer Whitney Houston, then I ain't got to go out really and do criminal shit to get the money. I can just make a phone call and say, bring me some stuff, people deliver it to me. But I'm still getting consequences because I'm studying ruining my health. You know, I'm ruining the way I'm thinking, I'm ruining my health. So there ain't nothing you can do that you ain't getting consequences from. So I always knew that. So I try to say, if I do this, what is the consequence of it? I always did all my life. I can't say I got like that, but I always from a kid would think to myself, if I go out in that stolen car, what's going to happen if we get caught? You know, and so I say, well, where did y'all get this car from? Don't worry about it. I said, no, turn it off. Let me out of here. You know, so then I would get flash from it. My brothers never saying, well, Johnny, this goody two-shoe, but it ain't a goody two-shoe. Johnny want to be out here free to raise his kid. So that's why I tell him now, you know, when I try to tell you and stuff, y'all had all the money and I was studying, trying to work and stuff. Now look at your asses. You know what I'm saying? Well, I shouldn't say it like that. But
yeah.
But look at them now. You know, now you in there wishing you out. You got
Right.
you can't even go out. You know, but you had the money for 5 years, and now you're in prison for 30 years.
Right.
No,
It
you
don't, it
know,
don't add
so
up.
So everybody in your family that got into the drug world, that got into the life, suffered from it. Either they're dead.
everybody, every friend I had, including my family, you suffered from it. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't suffer, you went crazy. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't you'll go crazy because the drugs done twisted your mind all you know.
Yeah. Oh, so some of the consequences of getting in that lifestyle would be jail, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Jail, craziness, dislaw, and finally death. That's it, you know. And if you get locked up, to me, that's death, you know.
do you think the ones that got long prison sentences regret it?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I just want it's a question.
Ah,
I know.
I taught you common sense too. You know what I mean? Common sense tell you that nobody want to be locked up. You know, like an animal.
But for these young people out there, what's the life of being locked up is like?
Say it again.
For the younger people who get into the drug game, explain what life is like in prison.
You know, I think because you're playing that tough role, that you assume that you can handle it. You know, because they had no respect too much for older people anymore. So that he couldn't take it, but I can take it. But it's nothing worser waking up here and you in jail. You know, because most times you got time to think when you're in jail. Ain't nothing worse than, you know. Now let's hear what the people. I don't want to hog the show.
Do we have callers? No.
Oh no, I ain't dropped the link. You want me to drop it?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what we waiting for.
Yeah, wait for the people.
I'm sitting here just talking.
I just reading the things, but let's see what some of their problems.
Yeah. I was waiting too.
I don't got caught up like I was in prison.
I just wanted to say this before we start. I think, Pop, you're one of the smartest people I know. I'm thankful that you're my father. Can you hear this?
I hear you.
And you're just a smart man. To take that street life and turn it into a positive life is unheard of. You should write a book.
No, it's plenty. I think people they might just don't have no platform to talk
What's up,
about.
old Val?
What's going on? What's going on?
We chilling.
Hey, hey, baby. Hey, Sherelle, your daddy doing street smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was saying if he was 15 younger, 15 years younger, I hit that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But see, he got that pimp mentality. So that's when you gotta hit it. You gotta hit it and quit it. He ain't gonna stick around. He gonna hit it, but he ain't gonna stay around. You already know what time it is.
This is so awkward.
Wait, I'm sorry. Listen, let me tell you this. On the serious side, my daughter's father is from Detroit. He lives there now. My daughter just came back from Detroit a little bit over a week ago. But every time she goes to Detroit, she always, it's a different lifestyle back there. So I understand what he's saying. But remember, we in Vegas, and Vegas is a lifestyle too. So everybody always talk about everybody has a crackhead in their family and all that other stuff. And people don't want to admit it. But it's not just crack. Everybody has somebody in their family that was addicted to something. Like we say, cocaine was called a white man's drug back in the day.
Yeah.
And when people started shooting up, it was a cheaper way for every nationality to get high because they couldn't afford the cocaine. And
That's
then
right.
when it got to it, then it got crackheads. They called it most time a black folks drug because mostly people that use crack was black people. But at the same time, white people use crack too, but at the same time they could get to it more. So the black people was hustling for it more. So theirs was more obvious.
That's
Let me
right.
ask you this, Val. Do you have a childhood trauma that you overcame or didn't overcome?
Yeah, I think anybody that say they don't is a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie. You have whether it was in your household or a household in your neighborhood or
Mhm.
somebody else told you something that's going on in their household that you've seen something. There's no way that you have lived a year in this life and say that you didn't see something that had an impact on your life in some
Right.
type of way.
That's right. Talking like that. Talking like that. If I was 15 years younger, I'd probably be hitting on you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. I told you, hey, I told you if you when you get a chance to read, I said game recognize game. You can't play a play. That's what I'm telling people straight up all the time.
That's
Okay?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't let
Okay.
this beauty fool you now. Okay. Don't let this beauty fool you.
So, Daddy, remember you said you watched the interview last week with this woman. It was very powerful. This is her. This is Nina. Take the thing
Oh, okay. Was she real? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Take that down, Gary, so I can see her name. Nina, what do you think about my father getting raised by a madam, becoming millionaires, and then taking?
Oh, she dropped. We lost her. Maybe she'll come back. Oh,
I really want you to talk to her because she understands the life too. I mean,
okay, let me drop again for her.
But everybody but that's what I'm trying to say. Out here, everybody's gonna understand that lifestyle. Because out here in Vegas, I ain't gonna try to be funny, but I worked in casino for 34 years. Let me tell you, we had households. I'm not gonna lie, we had households. You know what I'm saying? You had certain hoes that they would send to certain people that come to the hotel. You know, they wouldn't let the outside hoes come in. But you had hoes out. You still got hoes out here. It's just that COVID slowed them down. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, there's hoes everywhere. Okay, so it's just lifestyle.
Nina, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh.
No, Nina. Oh. Nina, no?
Must not.
Hey, Gio, what did you have to say? Do you have a comment or what do you have to say about all this we've been talking about?
No, your dad's speaking facts. Like, he's basically saying, like, in the streets, because I come from the streets, so I know about it. You know, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. I grew up around all my life. Like, my dad was a pimp. You know, my mom was out in the streets selling drugs and stuff like that. And so I was growing up, I used to see a lot of that stuff in the house and then see my dad and my mom fighting and stuff. I told myself, like, you know, certain kids that grow up in that type of environment, I was seeing it. So I was telling myself it affected me a little bit different. I said, I'm not going to ever do that to a woman. I don't want to ever do stuff like that. But the other kids that I grew up around, they turned around and was doing that. You know, they was hitting women, they was selling drugs, they was doing them. And it's just about your mental state and your spirit, where your spirit at, like what your dad is saying, like it's a spiritual warfare you're fighting within yourself. If you can't overcome it, then it can either kill you or it can put you in jail. And for like the young dudes that it's like the jails right now, it's full of nothing but young dudes. So the lifestyle is changing, you know, like it's sad, but it's true. Like some of these young dudes are going down for all types of crimes.
Right.
They're taking over the jails and these older guys can't tell them anything because they're gonna get on them young dudes gonna jump them, you know what I'm saying? So it's just sad to see it. Like our young generation is terrible right now. And I'm glad your dad was able to speak on it because it might can save a couple of these young dudes' lives and they can change their ways. Like I learned a lot from older dudes like Perry and your dad. Like they taught me to stay out of the streets. Don't go down that road, you know, and I get that gut feeling like I done been in them predicaments, some shootouts, all that. And I was like, yeah, you think it's all cool until you go down that street and then the bullets get to passing by your head. And you know, that could be your life right there. I stepped away fast. I knew you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I knew when to fold them.
Gio, do you think anybody can overcome a bad childhood?
I think, honestly, it takes time, but you got to have those people around you. Like, you get around some good people. They don't even necessarily have to be family. Family sometimes is family. But it could be some good people that's outside of your family, or it could be just that one family member. You can overcome anything. It's like if you tell yourself, I can overcome it and saying I can't. You know, a lot of people are so used to saying, I can't do that because it's impossible. If you tell yourself I can do it and just encourage yourself like, I can do this, I can overcome it, I can. The more you say, the more eventually you will start seeing better for yourself and you will overcome it.
A lot of people, Pop, are asking about being sexually, I have to watch my words, assaulted growing up. How do you overcome that?
Now, with that's something that a lot of people ain't going to be able to overcome.
We got to fix Sherelle sound too. Sherelle still sound like she in a tunnel.
Something I mean, she on her iPad, so it probably won't get no better for her.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Huh?
No.
With that,
Just come closer. Maybe if you come closer to your mic. Okay.
with that, Sherelle though, like I don't trust me. I mean, I didn't been around people like that before, you know, and it's that, but it's they're not. They're most likely ain't gonna be able to just overcome it within even years. It takes a lot of counseling, a lot of people to talk to them and getting away from those type of people that did it to them, and it takes for the suspect to forgive the victim, and that maybe it can be some rekindle to overcoming it. Other than that, they're always gonna forever think about that. It's not gonna be something they can just get over. Like,
What
nah,
about that, Pop? He's saying, Gio said, when you're sexually assaulted when you're young, you might not make it out of that, and you've got a different theory. You're saying you can overcome.
I think you can get out of anything, but I said it's not easy. But sometimes, because I was reading one, somebody put up there, nobody's saying that, especially if it's a child with the abuse stuff, that's a whole different subject, that the kid is at fault. Nobody's saying that. The kid is a victim. You know what I'm saying? But it's still gonna mess with his thinking and stuff. But just because he's a victim, it might not be easy to get out of it. But in God's will, you can get out of it. I'm saying you're not doing
it's possible.
You're not doing because you was molested. You understand? You can get out of that too and understand that too and go on with your life. So that's what I mean. I say you can get out of anything if you're willing to look inside yourself, pull yourself up. But it's never easy. And the harder the subject is, the harder, you know, you might need a whole bunch of people to help you pull yourself up, whatever. But they got to start with you. So it's not an easy task. If I've been on crack for 18 years, like my friend I just talked to, well, it wasn't easy for her to get out of it because the longer you're in something, the harder it is. But she didn't quit trying. You know, she didn't quit trying. Get up, try again, fall down, get your butt back up. You know.
Right.
But sometimes I agree with you on a lot of that, Dad. But and I hate to call you Daddy instead of calling you Daddy. But anyway, this is what I'm trying to say. So go ahead, Daddy. You better stop playing with me. But anyway, listen. But sometimes you can go through some stuff. You know, you can go through some stuff, and you do good at get out of it within yourself because you're mad at the situation you have got into, and it hurt you in some type of way that you don't want that same pain. So you can find within yourself to take yourself not to be in that same position again. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with that all the way. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's not easy. You know,
No,
it's not easy.
Right, you're exactly right. Because my dad was in his same age as you when he passed away, and my dad had used once he started using he started off with the cocaine. What I'm saying, when I used to go over to his house, I see the little brown bottles. He didn't ever admit that it was cocaine, but I was old enough. I was in high school. I knew what those brown bottles was by then. You understand what I'm saying? But you in that lifestyle and everything else. Then you went from there and you started using crack. Because like I said, it was a cheaper way of doing it. But I'm saying it took years. And my ex-husband, 30 years, you still on crack. I told him, how long you want to do that? So like you say, within yourself, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what you do. I don't care how many rehabs you send them to. I don't care how far you send them back to get their blood drawn off, get fresh blood put in and all the other stuff. They are not going to stop using drugs until within themselves they are ready to stop. They could be
You got somebody that's asking a serious question, Pop. They're saying, if you're being abused and you're young, what do you do? Where do you go? That's what she's saying. Megan's saying, where do you go?
Most of the time, it's kept a secret.
Right.
You don't tell it. The bruiser don't tell it. So you might get older before it gets straightened out. But sooner or later, you're being tormented on the inside, you gonna tell it. Right. You're gonna say what he did to you. You understand? You might get a lot of slack from it, but eventually you're gonna tell it and start your healing process from there. Eventually, when you get older, you're gonna say, "Y'all thank you so much, but this is what he did to me." You know what I'm saying? You know, so you're not just through because you had it was something that was vicious to you. You know what I'm saying? Because some bruises lighter and worse than other bruises, but still you can get out of it no matter. I believe, I might just be, because I'm real optimistic about everything, that if you try hard enough, you can get out of whatever it is. But you got to be truthful to yourself. But with your molesting, you got to know it's not your fault. And that's
Right.
where most people believe that something I did, why he do me like that.
There you go.
But it wasn't your fault.
When your
So you
father.
got to first forget.
But you don't think of it at that time. At that time, the first thing you do is you blame yourself. The
Right.
first thing you do is you blame yourself. And that's what
Because,
takes people so long to come out and say something, because you blame yourself.
well, sometimes to release, especially something that's really heavy on you, and you might love the person that was doing it and stuff, when you're going to stay sad, tormented, until you got the strength to tell it. You know?
Right.
Right.
That's
You know,
correct.
You gotta find somebody to trust.
and you
That's
might
why
not
somebody
never
trust.
tell it. You might not never tell it, but you're gonna die miserable with it
Yeah.
heavy on your chest.
Right.
You know. You know.
Exactly.
There had to be some kind of trust within somebody that you tell it to. You have to
Right.
it's trust.
Find trust.
When you get that comfort of trust, that's when you can expose it to whoever you need to expose it to, or whoever you feel you want to expose it to. But it may be hard for you to even within yourself to
See, like,
expose it.
if some lady
Right.
just said, somebody right there said I didn't tell until after I had my firstborn. You know. So,
Okay.
but eventually you're gonna tell it. Eventually you're gonna tell it. You know, or die sad and miserable because you didn't tell it. You know.
That's
So,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
But you did nothing. You know, sometimes you abuse, especially with the child abuse stuff. You
Right.
did nothing. You know, you ain't did a thing. You a straight victim. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you have to realize in your mind and your soul, I did nothing. You know, it wasn't my fault. And don't cover up for the one that did it. You know.
Right.
Ooh, we need to come back, Pop, with a whole subject about being assaulted when you're young. A whole and we should do a video on that next.
And assault could be in many ways. It could be physical, it could be verbal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Those things carry. Just like when I was, I'm not sure how old I was. It had to be between 3 and 5 years old. Something happened to me at a babysitter, and it wasn't a man; it was a woman, and that it took me over 20 years to tell my mom what had happened. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when I grew up, I refused to have a kid unless I knew I was going to be babysit. That's why when I had my daughter at the age of 32, my only child, and I had her, and my grandmother kept her from day one till she didn't need a babysitter anymore, because I refused to have an outsider watch my child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we got Nina or
Yeah.
Nina?
Hey y'all.
Nina,
Okay. She finally can hear us.
she said she had technical difficulty. Yeah.
I was at the nail salon, so you know. Yeah. Hey, Dad.
Well, I'm glad you called in, Nina. My dad seen your story last week, and it's kind of similar to yours, except he's coming from the dealer part, and you're coming from the other part. But he wanted to talk to you. Do you can you understand his story when the whole family dealing? The whole family.
I can understand it. I came from
Echo.
all my uncles. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. About the echo.
Okay.
Drop me
Let me try this for a second. Let me see.
You can drop people.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can drop me. You can drop me.
Let me see something.
You can drop me.
Hold on. Can you hear us, Nina?
I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Is that better?
Echo.
Ask the audience.
Can you guys hear Nina?
Is it still an echo?
Nobody?
No, it's good.
Okay.
Go ahead,
It's
Nina.
good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can totally 100% see where your dad is coming from. All my uncles were liquor house people. They had liquor houses. And my dad was the numbers man. My dad died a millionaire. Yeah. So I understand about the hoes and the pimping and all that stuff. Your dad was on the other side of the way I was on. See, I came up on your dad's side, but I ended up on the other side of the tracks. So yeah, your dad got a powerful story. Me and him could write a book together and sell millions.
Yeah. I mean, but the good thing is that both of y'all got out of it. How long did it
Right.
take you, Daddy?
How
long did it take you to get out of that?
I think when I moved to California, but still, I realized I moved 2,500 miles away, and I end up with the same kind of people around me. And then that's when I realized it can't be the people because I've got the same kind of people.
Right.
It got to be me. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I started working on me. You know, I think
That
Andrea.
old saying, I'm sorry, that.
No, go
old
ahead.
saying that you take yourself wherever you go. It ain't never
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
always
yeah.
me. Right.
See, but what I had to do was cut off my phone. I think you have to isolate yourself from that kind of group. You have to stay away for a while, and maybe you can go back later. But I think first half you got to cut phones off. You got to cut off all communication. And I don't think you can do it without it. You know, I think you have. You know, I don't think you can hang out with a bunch of drunks and you got a problem and you ain't gonna slip up or hang out with a whole bunch of crackhead. I don't care how straight you might have been, how many years you've been, and think you're gonna hang out and keep hanging out with them and you ain't gonna take a puff. I think I just don't. That's the only thing me and you disagree on. I think you have to actually cut yourself off. I don't think you can.
You have to cut yourself off. I agree with you, man. I can't go to the barber shop and not get a haircut. So I can't go around people, places, and things. You know, even when I stopped smoking cigarettes, something as we may think as minute as that. When I was 2 years clean, I stopped smoking cigarettes. I just put them down. Didn't do no patches of nothing. But when I was going to meetings, NA meetings, where they hung out after the meetings, they was always smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Guess what Nina did? Nina got in her car after the meeting and went home. Because if I kept hanging out with them and all that cigarette smoke was getting in my face, I was going to eventually pick up. That's why they say it's addiction is so many different types. Like I was addicted to the lifestyle. They said the lifestyle don't kill you, the drugs will. If the drugs don't kill you, the lifestyle will. I had to completely cut everything off that was associated with that, even family. I couldn't
Can I
look at
ask
my
you this?
uncles. Yeah.
Did something in your childhood trigger this? Trigger your addiction?
You know, I had a bad. I was always around it, right? I was always around in the liquor houses. You know, uncle sold liquor. My brothers and them was addicted to cocaine. You know, shooting it up, and then I had a bad experience with my dad. Like I wanted that love from my daddy. That's why. And then you talk about relationships and sex addiction and stuff. I thought through other men that I thought could be my daddy, that I needed my daddy, you know, and I didn't get my daddy until 2 years before he passed away. So it took a lot of, you know, that was the trauma for me. I wanted his attention. I wanted to be the daddy's girl, you know, but, you know, it took a lot of therapy.
Yep. Well, I think we're going to continue this sometime again. I think we'll pick up some more things, and maybe I got to do the hotline more often. Maybe, I don't know, we try to bump it up at least twice a week or something so we can get some more stuff in. But I don't want to be on here too much longer because, Sherelle, you going live in about, what, 50 minutes?
Yep.
So,
you having your dad on just makes me love y'all even more because you're opening up. You know what I'm saying? I already loved you and Perry. Y'all were the GOAT for real. And then you got your daddy on. You let us into a little bit of your life. You don't get you. It can't get no better than that, Sherelle.
Period.
Period.
Yeah.
I want you to before we get off, let Andrea pull her up.
Oh, yeah, she up.
Oh, well, let her talk. Let her see what she got to say.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Hi, Daddy.
Uh-oh.
I agree with you. I agree I agree with you 100%. You know, everybody goes through trials and tribulations, but you gotta want to get out of it, and it's a fight. You have to fight your whole life to get out of bad situations like that. And I commend you for being strong. I commend you for telling your truth. Also, Nina, I commend you. But it is a fight to get out of bad situations like that. Sometimes you have to find somebody. You have to find somebody that you trust. Yes.
Andrea.
Yeah.
We love your comments because you know you like family. We love your comments, but we got to go.
I can't. I don't care. I just want to say, hey, Daddy.
So, I know I'll be talking to you later, but right now.
I know, Daddy. I know.
We got to run.
Anyway, I'm so glad to see you, Daddy. Love you.
I told you he was a hit and run. I told you he was a hit and run. Didn't I tell y'all Daddy was a hit and run? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Daddy, you better leave that alone.
Daddy, you may be Sherelle Daddy. My daddy passed away two years ago. But you may be Sherelle Daddy, but you act just like my daddy. You my daddy, too.
Did you hear me say we got to go?
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think you heard me. I can't
want to thank everybody for coming. Thanks, Pops, for popping up. I want to thank everybody for the super chats. I truly appreciate it. Thanks for everybody just joining in and just to have an adult conversation.
And Perry, thanks for having me on.
Huh?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then, wow, you want to give a shout out to your channel, Geo. I think those are about the only people who have channels.
Yeah.
Not on this topic, because I ain't trying to give no shout out on this topic, you know.
Geo's still on there.
Yeah, that's
Mine
it
is
at the bottom.
I ain't scared of myself. Shout it out. Opal comedian. You know what I'm saying? Daddy, you can follow me. You know what I'm saying?
I
don't want nobody but Daddy to follow her.
Geo.
No, y'all can follow. You know I'm just messing around. You know that comedian side come out of me every time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, Geo, check
What's
this
up?
out, man. Just because I get on here and tell all my business, what you telling all yours for? What are you thinking about, bro?
Okay. Well, anyway, everybody, on 3, let's say bye. I appreciate it. Thanks for the mods. Thank everybody for showing up, and we'll do this again soon. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love y'all.
Bye, y'all.